Welcome to the Personal Information Security Policy presentation of the F.C. Tucker Company. My name is Michael Mackenzie Veal. I'm the Vice President of Information Systems at the F.C. Tucker Company, and one of my primary responsibilities is the implementation of the security policy. So why do we have this policy? What is it we're trying to protect? Both state and federal government have laws on the books that require that we protect private information. Both state and federal laws ask that we protect the same information. What is that information? It is a person's name in combination with any of the following: a person's social security number, their driver's license number, a state ID number. Now, for those of you who don't know, available to you is a state ID number. Most people don't have one, but if they don't drive, they might want to get one. They can go to the BMV and get a state ID number. That state ID identification card is very similar to a driver's license. It has a photo ID and a special number on it, like a driver's license number, and it is to be protected just like a driver's license number. They also want us to protect any credit card information or credit card numbers and any financial account number. And to be specific, any financial account number can mean any financial account number. A checking account number, a savings account number, a trust account number. It doesn't matter. If it's a financial account number, we must protect it. So this policy is to be read and signed by everyone so that we make everyone aware of the policy. And when I mean everyone, I do mean everyone, from the owner of the company, Jim Litton, all the way down to a part-time employee, an agent, their team members. If they work or represent F.C. Tucker, we ask that they sign this policy. Signing the policy simply means that they understand the requirements of the policy and what our policy is. Once it's signed, who keeps track of it? Well, for our employees, all of those signature pages go to the HR department, and they keep files on all of the employees, so that's where those signature pages are kept. That would be true of all of our sales associates also. Team members, those signature pages go to Stephanie Jordan. Stephanie is responsible for keeping track of all of our team member information, and therefore she keeps those on the team member files. The state and federal laws ask that we review and reinitiate policies and have them re-signed each and every year. We started this whole process mid to late last year, so we're not asking that everybody reread and re-sign the policy this year in 2015, but we will begin in 2016 with an annual review, so to speak. There'll be a quick review update of the policy that we send out to everyone. We'll have them reread the policy, re-sign it, and send it back in. Once this policy was fully implemented, all new employees and new sales associates and new team members need to read and sign the policy and see this presentation. So that's why you're seeing this now. You're being introduced to it because you're new to the company. So after we implemented the policy, there were a number of things that we needed to do. We needed to train our employees. We needed to train our agents. We've done that. New employees, as I said, new agents go through this training program. We encrypted all of our company computers. That's been completed. That project's been completed. What does encryption mean? Encryption means that the data that's kept on the hard drives of our computers is scrambled. It can't be descrambled or understood without special user IDs and passwords. all of our company computers are encrypted. So the computers that sit in the libraries are encrypted, even the ones that the agents use there in the libraries. The computers that our administrators use, the computers that the accounting department uses, that the marketing department uses, HR department, all of our company computers are encrypted. It safeguards us. If there should be a break-in, say, in the middle of the night, and computers are taken, when people that take these computers, get them to wherever they're going and turn them on, they will be unusable without the special user IDs and passwords to unlock the keys, if you will, to decrypt the files and allow them to see the information. We also need to perform a third-party review. We're doing that this year. The third-party review is review of companies that we deal with. An example might be our courier company, the company that stores our long-term records. We want to review their policies to verify that they're in line with ours and they're following the same security procedures that we do. We went through a number of security system upgrades, and by that I mean office security, alarm systems, etc. All of our offices have alarms that are engaged at midnight and turn off, I believe, at 6 in the morning. I would check with your office manager to verify those hours. But the point is if you decide, hey, I want to stop in to the office at 3 in the morning and grab some files that I left on my desk, don't do it. The alarms will go off. The police will arrive. You will be arrested. Hopefully you have a good relationship with your manager for them to bail you out. We've been changing a number of procedures. All those changes have been put in place. We'll talk about that now. Historically, it's been common for a sales associate to keep a copy of the earnest money check. And it's common, if you went back to files that were 5, 10, and 15 years ago, to find a copy of that earnest money check in those closed files. We don't want that to happen anymore. We ask that no one keep copies of the earnest money checks. There are scenarios where you might need a copy. For example, you're in the middle of a transaction. An earnest money check has been delivered to the other real estate firm on behalf of your buyer, and the mortgage company or the title company needs to know that that earnest money check was really delivered, needs to see a copy of it. What we would ask is make a copy of the earnest money check and hand it to your customer. Get it out of your possession. If you don't have it, you can't lose it. You can't lose control of it. So that's the best way to deal with an earnest money check these days. Don't keep copies of the mortgage release forms. Mortgage companies are asking for this information. Some of the information that they're asking for is private information, example, the Social Security number. They need that to check credit and so forth. But you don't have to keep a copy of the mortgage release. Have the client fill out the mortgage release, get it delivered to the mortgage company, and then get rid of any copy that you might have. Don't keep copies of any documentation that has this personal information on it. Again, what personal information are we asking you to not keep? A Social Security number, a driver's license number, a state ID card, a credit card number, or any financial account number, such as the number that might be found on an escrow or earnest money check. We've made some other changes in the offices. We no longer, as I said, keep copies of that personal information in the closed files, but we do keep our closed files locked at all times. If you need access to information that's in one of the closed files, you'll need to go to an administrator during normal business hours and ask them for the file. You are to make whatever copies of information you need from that closed file and return it. You may not keep the closed file in your possession. We have to, by law, keep track of those closed files and keep them in our possession at all times. It doesn't mean you can't keep your own closed file, but the office has to have an official closed file, and we keep those locked at all times. Active files need access on a regular basis. So during normal business hours, the file cabinets that keep track of the active files will be left unlocked. At night, during closed business hours, we'll lock those files, and they will be inaccessible to you. So if you need access to an active file, you'll need to do that during normal business hours, so please plan that. Even if you stay late at night after 6 o'clock, you're there at 8 o'clock, those files are not available to you. In order to help get rid of information that you don't want, a document that says that say has a Social Security number on it, we've put shredder boxes in all of our offices. Now these shredder boxes have locks on them. They're literally just boxes with a slot in them, and once you put your document in through that slot, it falls to the bottom of the box and you can't gain access to it again. On a regular basis, the shredder companies show up at the offices, they grab the boxes, take them out to their truck in the parking lot and shred them in the truck in the parking lot, then return the boxes, and they're ready to fill again. As I mentioned, we no longer keep information in our closed file that has private information on it. However, many of our older closed files, 5, 10, 15 years ago, had these documents in them that had private information. We're not asking that individuals or office people go back through all those files and pull out that private information. What we're doing instead is verifying that they do stay locked and inaccessible to anybody that just happens to be in the office. So, how secure is your office? What I'd like everybody to do is to change their mindset periodically and ask themselves some questions about how secure their office is and where that private information is. And ask yourself, do you have private information somewhere? If you do have it, do you need it? And if you have it and you don't need it, how do you remove it? And can someone gain access to it without your knowledge? So when we think about where that private information could be, we could find it in a number of places. One of those places is on your computer. It's maybe in your email, for example, or you've scanned a document and it's on your hard drive. That scanned file might have a Social Security number. Maybe you scanned the escrow check or the earnest money check and it's on your hard drive. You have to get rid of that if you can. Make every attempt to. If someone sends you a document in your email, it's probably going to show up on your computer, and now it's in a number of places in your email. It's in your inbox. Maybe you forwarded it on to somebody and it's in your sent items. You deleted it, but it's still in your trash folder. When you get an email, it can show up in a number of different places, not just on your computer, but on your phone. Most people these days have smartphones, and their phones have their email just like their computers do. So if you get an email from a customer and they have attached a document, say that has a Social Security number on it, you have to get rid of it from your computer and the email system there, your phone and the email system there. If you keep that email on your server and you use a webmail service, you have to get rid of it there. It's a lot of different places. And sometimes it shows up without warning. Here's an example. You've told your customer, we don't keep this information. It's our policy, and it is there to protect them. And we ask that if they have filled out a form and they put a Social Security number or a financial account number or a credit card number on one of these forms, don't send it to you. Give it to the mortgage company, the title company, whoever needs it. And we've had stories like, oh, I told them that, so they sent the email directly to the title company, but they copied me. Well, if they copy you, you still get the email. And now you have to worry about it. You could have a file on your desk, and in that file on your desk is a physical copy of the mortgage release form with a Social Security number on it. You could have a filing cabinet next to your desk. Same thing. The filing cabinet has a file in it with a mortgage release form in it. You have to be aware of where all these pieces of information are, and you should make every attempt to protect it just like the office is. If you have this information in a filing cabinet, can you lock your filing cabinet? Can you lock a drawer in your office or in your desk? These are questions that you need to ask yourself to help protect that information. So sometimes we've done everything that we can to protect this information, but something still happens. Let's run through a couple of different scenarios. Maybe you have a file on a transaction that's going on, and in that file is the mortgage release form. Your intention is to deliver it to the mortgage company. You put it in your briefcase, you put your briefcase in your trunk, it's hidden in your trunk. On the way to the mortgage company, you need to stop by Target or Walmart or some store. And your car is in the parking lot, and while you're in the store, it gets broken into and they steal your briefcase. You have to worry about this breach. You have to realize that that information is now out of your hands. Another example might be you have your computer with email on it, and you've received a recent email with an attached file that has this private information in it, and your computer gets stolen. All of these scenarios can happen in real life. It's not intentional, but it does happen. What do you have to do now? It's our recommendation that you contact your manager. Your manager may contact me, they may contact Donna. There are a number of people that they may talk to. We need to talk through the situation. One of the things that we need to do is figure out what information was lost. Because anything that we think is lost or could be lost must be reported. It must be reported to the consumer. It must be reported to the Indiana State Attorney General office. It must be reported to any other state's Attorney General's office if that client lives outside the state of Indiana. And here's the kicker. If any of that information is lost and we know about it and we do not report it, that is a criminal act. The fact that we lost it is not against the law. It violates any state procedure, state law of any kind, any federal law of any kind. It's the failure to disclose that is of a criminal offense. Heavy fines could be levied. If it's a tremendously egregious act, that could even mean jail time. That would have to be pretty egregious, but the point is that's built into the laws. And none of that is covered by E&O insurance. So we as a company are doing everything that we can to protect this information, and we request that as an employee or as a sales associate, you do the same. Because if you fail to make these disclosures, you are responsible. And we want to make that clear. You're responsible for any violations, any fines, etc. And that needs to be understood by you, because we can't protect you if you violated the law. Thank you. I hope you understand the requirements, and please do your best to follow them.